Hello guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Los Blancos podcast. Today we'll be discussing Marcelo's fight with Zizou on training. We'll be discussing Zizou himself and rumours. That's what I'm going to say. Athletic Bilbao preview as well. So, I hope you enjoy. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, Madristas. Let's get right into the pod. So, we begin with Marcelo. Now, Marcelo obviously fallen down the pecking order, and he hasn't been first choice recently. Obviously, Ferland Mendy has been injured, and he's set to miss the rest of the season, which is not great, is it? So now we've got options. We haven't got that many options as well, because Varane's obviously also injured, and Ramos is injured as well. So we've got Nacho and Militao only, right? So if we had Varane and Ramos back, I could have said, oh, yeah, that's fine, let Marcelo go. He's old, he's terrible nowadays, but we don't have a Nacho to play at left back, so what are we meant to do? Well, yes, Granada, we played against Granada on Thursday, and Miguel Gutierrez from Castilla played at left back because Marcelo reportedly had a bust-up with Zizou on the pitch in training, which discussing over tactics. I'm not sure Marcelo's the right person to be talking tactics. I'll bet you that the fight was about, I don't want to defend Zizou. You have to defend. I mean, it's just stupid, isn't it? At this point in the season, you can't be having fights, Marcelo. You need to be helping winning the league. We are at a crucial point, 2 games left. You're not meant to be fighting with Zizou about tactics. That's his job, not yours. His, right? I'm fully with Zizou on this one. I mean, it's probably about defending as well, because Marcelo just can't get up and back at the same. He's just too slow nowadays, and he's not athletic enough. Mendy's 100 times better. Miguel obviously played the other day, and he was actually good as well. I'm gonna have to make a decision right now whether we're gonna bring back Marcelo or we're just gonna continue to leave him out and play Miguel for the last 2 games of the season. 2 big games against Athletic Bilbao and against Villarreal. What I can say, Miguel put in a shift defensively, and he got an assist as well. So ultimately, he looks ready to play for the main team. He does. What I can also say is that our fullbacks over the last years that come from Castilla have been superb, sensational. Right, I've got a list here, right, of the players that we have produced. So we've produced Reguilon. Now at Tottenham, we've got a buyback clause on him. He's probably going to come back soon. Hakimi, one of our own, and he's a Madrista, and obviously he's at Inter now. Inter are struggling to pay off the money for him. Then we have Mario Hermoso, who now plays for Atleti, which, I don't like. Originally a left back, but now is a centre back. We got Dani Carvajal, obviously he plays for us, I think you can tell that. And also we got Nacho. So Nacho originally was a right back, but now he's a centre back, left back. So he's a centre back. So our pipeline of fullbacks have been absolutely sensational. So, giving Miguel Gutierrez a chance, in my opinion, is the right thing to do. On the other side, we had Marvin Park, obviously ex-Tranmere legend. He played, even though he's a right winger at right back, he did all right. Not as good as Miguel, may I add, but he did all right. I mean, you weren't expecting much of him. He's a right winger playing a right back, but he did well for what he was, and I think that's the end for Marcelo at Real Madrid. I think this summer he has to go. I think he should have gone last summer. I don't think we should have dawdled about that. No, Marcelo has to go. We saw with the performance against Chelsea in the first leg, he was just run out by Cesar Azpilicueta. Someone who's meant to be his same age, someone who's meant to be the same athleticism as Marcelo. He was just done out after 5 minutes. it weren't good enough for Marcelo. Marcelo has to go. Monaco are interested, Juve are interested. If we can get him off to Monaco, I'd be very happy. I don't think Monaco want him though because of João Enrique's performances, and Juve, I mean, they could want him. I'm not sure. Alexandro is always injured, but I'm not too sure about that one. But it could work because if they play a 5 at the back, because of Cuadrado, think of him. I think up and down, Cuadrado's still better than Marcelo, but you know, we've got to get rid of him at this point. Grêmio are also injured. Grêmio of Brazil are also interested, which could be an interesting partnership with Douglas Costa, who's been announced. I think he might not have been announced, but I saw Fabrizio Romano tweet about it that the deal was done for Douglas Costa to go back to Brazil to Grêmio. So that would be a nice partnership to have Douglas Costa and Marcelo. But at this point, I don't want Marcelo anymore. I think he's just not good enough. If we could switch his position to a position where he doesn't need to get back, you know, maybe centre mid. It's a dodgy one, centre mid. If he plays bad, then we could be absolutely run out. But his passing is still fantastic. His technical ability is always going to be fantastic. If we play on the wing, he just doesn't have enough to go get in behind the defence. So I think Marcelo's done out at Real Madrid. I don't think this is the end for Marcelo at Real Madrid. I don't want him anymore. I don't think any Madrista wants him anymore. It's the end. It's the end for Marcelo. I don't think there's any other solution. There isn't a solution to keeping him here. It's not a good idea if we keep him here because ultimately we should be run out by Chelsea or Man City or Bayern. We should be done. We need more players like Mendy who can run for like 90 minutes straight. Same with like Valverde. Valverde is always going to be a fantastic player. Got players like Milinkovic-Savic, who would have been. He said it, Real Madrid is his dream. I would love him to come to Real Madrid because he is so good as a box-to-box player. He can get into the attacking third and back within a couple of seconds. He's actually insane, and he is so powerful. I just think him at Real Madrid would be the perfect match. Lazio, at this point, most people are calling for Milinkovic-Savic to leave. Not Lazio fans, but neutral fans are asking Milinkovic-Savic to stop being so loyal to Lazio and to actually go somewhere, improve his career. And I think Real Madrid is the perfect platform for him to show what he's about, because most fans still don't know how good Milinkovic-Savic really is. He is genuinely world class, but because most fans don't watch Serie A, they don't understand that, and they need to see him in a bigger league for a bigger team to understand how good he is. With Modric and Kroos going old, they're old now. I think moving into the next generation, we can't be relying on players like Modric, who are so good technically, but athletically they're just not good enough. And we need to be moving on because we got players like if we bring in Milinkovic-Savic, then we got Milinkovic-Savic and Valverde and Antonio Blanco, who's been brilliant. That's the next generation. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful midfield for next gen. We could bring in Odegaard as well for the midfield, which would be brilliant. And it just fits, doesn't it? It just does fit in your head. This Real Madrid team that has brilliant midfielders, brilliant attackers like Mbappe, like Haaland, and a brilliant defence. So we need to make sure that we can buy those players, and we need to move forward into the next generation. Leave behind the players like Modric and Kroos. Yes, I would love them to stay at Real Madrid and finish their careers at Real Madrid, because that's something as a Real Madrid fan I've never had. Really, I've never had a legend retire at Real Madrid. Think of Casillas, he's left to Porto. We chucked him out. Think of Ronaldo, we chucked him out to Juve. And think of like Guti, think of Raul, who we'll be talking about later. These players didn't stay at Real Madrid, and that's one thing I want as a Real Madrid fan, for a legend to stay. So yes, I want Modric to stay. I want them to stay for the La Liga matches, but in the Champions League, where it's really key, we need to move forward. We need to move forward from this old generation of midfielders who are so technically gifted, but they're just not good enough athletically. So we'll be moving on to the next part of the podcast, which is about Zinedine Zidane, after this short break. So, rumours on Twitter have said Zinedine Zidane is ready to leave Real Madrid at the end of the season because he's mentally and physically tired. It's not good, is it? It's not good. I mean, the reason why I'm saying this is because the options as managers come are not very good. We don't have many options, ultimately. There's three main candidates, which I'll get on to in a few minutes. But this is not good enough. Early in the season, when we looked like we were going out of the Champions League and into the Europa League, when we got knocked out by a bunch of Spanish plumbers, when we got knocked out by Athletic Bilbao in the Supercopa, I was calling for Zizou's head and I was calling for him to leave. I thought he wasn't the one. I thought he'd lost his touch. But as the seasons progress, we've had injury after injury, 62 injuries I think it is. At this point, I've lost track at this point. But Zidane's shown how good of a manager he is. He's shown how he can adapt. He's shown how he can play the five at the back effectively against Liverpool. He's shown that he can get the best out of players like Nacho and Militao, who previously Nacho had been contributing, but not to this level. Militao had not been contributing at all. So and Lucas Vázquez. For me, Lucas Vázquez has shown why we need to keep him on for the next season, because he deserves it. He's been absolutely fantastic for Real Madrid this season, and he's been an unsung hero. We need to keep him on. Don't lose him to Bayern Munich or PSG, because that'll be a big mistake. Big mistake. And Zizou's shown all this in a season which has been very difficult, when the pressure's always been on him, when the injuries have always been on him, when he's been 15 points behind Atletico Madrid in the title race. He's 15 points behind Atletico Madrid in the title race. 2 games to go. We are only 2 points behind. That is what you call a superb manager. That, coming through all that, you could fall under pressure. No offence to Liverpool fans, but what has Jurgen Klopp done? He's made excuse after excuse. What's Ronald Koeman done? He's made excuse after excuse. Zidane hasn't made a single excuse. It was just, next game's the final. That's all he's done. And he's been absolutely fantastic. But now there's rumours that he wants to leave. And I don't blame him. I mean, the fans haven't appreciated him, including me. I haven't appreciated him enough. And the board haven't appreciated him. The players haven't appreciated him. We need to work harder on this to be nicer to manager, give them better time, giving them less pressure. Constantly we're going if you don't win, we'll sack you. If you don't win, we're out the Champions League and we'll sack you. We need to actually give our all to the managers and let the managers give their all to us. So, obviously, Zizou might be leaving. Juve are sniffing around Zizou. If Juve want to get him, that would be a brilliant move for the Juve. I'm not sure they will, though. I think Zizou will just be I'll just take a bit of time out, then I'll come back to Real Madrid in a year when the next manager's failed. But we got to do this. Okay, so we've got 3 managers here. 3 main candidates for the Real Madrid job. We've got a few outside shots as well. Outside shots meaning that they're a bit meh. I'm not feeling it really, but or they they're just not really coming. But these are the three main managers that are on the shortlist that could be coming at the end of the season. So first, as I said before, we'll be talking about Raul. Now, Raul is a fantastic manager. If you've seen Castilla and the way they've played, he's turned Sergio Arribas into a genuinely top prospect. He's turned Antonio Blanco into top prospect. He's turned Miguel Gutierrez into a first-team squad player. He's turned Marvin Park into a first-team squad player. He's really done well, Raul, for what he's got. He hasn't got one of the golden generations of Madrid. He's, the ones where we got Mario Hermoso or Fran Sol or Jose Callejon or someone like that. But he hasn't got those. He's got simple Spanish players who, aren't special. They're not special players. They're good. Like players like Antonio Blanco. He has the potential to become a top player, but he doesn't have the potential to become a world-class player. And that's what he's been working with. And he's shown time and time again he can work with this. For the first time in I think it's 6 years, we could be in the Real Madrid B could be in the Segunda Division, which is a massive achievement. Getting the promotion spots and we're playing against Ibiza, a party island, and Raul's at the main front of that. I mean, he's been fantastic. And last summer, when we were in the the UEFA Youth League, we didn't have a good team because our Castilla was out on holiday and loads of them had COVID, so we had to bring our U19s. And these players, but no offence to them, but Raul did not know them at all. He had no idea what they were, how good they were, and he still won the tournament. He beat the likes of Benfica, who had a golden generation. He beat Salzburg, who had a golden generation. And ultimately, that shows that he is a good manager that knows what to do. He can adapt to situations, and he's a big time manager. Frankfurt have been sniffing around him. Obviously, Adi Hütter is leaving Frankfurt at the end of the season for Mönchengladbach. So Frankfurt have been looking around, and that would be exciting for Frankfurt. But I don't think Raul's going to be picking Frankfurt ahead of the main job if they're given to him. And I'll tell you my top pick at the end. Ultimately, I've ranked them. But next up, we got Max Allegri. So with Allegri, I think people have forgotten. It's been 3 years out, two or 3 years out for the Italian boss, and people forget very quickly what he really did with that Juve side. He turned them into a dominant Italian side. This is a time where Napoli was becoming a force again. Roma were having out their ups and downs. Lazio were coming up, and the Milan clubs were plummeting. So, Allegri won 8 titles in a row. 8. Let's not forget that. 8 titles in a row in Italy. A league that's considered one of the top leagues in the world. He won 8 in a row. Alright? And ultimately, that achievement should not go disregarded. If he, ultimately what people will be looking out for him in is the fact that he couldn't win a Champions League with Juve. But it's not like he didn't come close. He got to 2 Champions League finals. With minimal, with minimal spend, right? It wasn't like he was spending absolute tons. I remember the most he spent was for Gonzalo Higuain. I can't remember who else they spent for it, but that was the only time he had gone over 60 million for a transfer. And that's very hard for a Juve side who want to just, thinking about it, he just wants to we just want to win the Champions League at this point. And ultimately they did do that. They did break the 60 million curse, but that was to Ronaldo. So ultimately that seemed fair, didn't it? Spending 100 million on Ronaldo does seem fair to me. Especially at the time, which he was scoring bicycle kicks against your side, which Maxi Allegri obviously signed him after that. So listen, Max Allegri, I don't think he should go to Scolari, but the problem with Max Allegri is it's the side of play, isn't it? It's the discipline. He needs discipline from his players. He needs his players to be perfectly disciplined. That's not happening with Real Madrid. That's the thing. You know, these players are some of the most creative footballers that have ever lived. You know, Modric, Kroos, Casemiro. You know, these players aren't going to be disciplined. Casemiro might be, but Modric and Kroos won't be. You know, and if you see how Ramos and Varane play, they play nice and wide, but Allegri wants them to play narrow and direct, which is not in the Real Madrid way, is it? It's not how Real Madrid normally play. You know, we did do that once upon a time under Jose Mourinho. That time has passed, and it showed 3 years. You know, 3 years, 2 years of those were absolutely fantastic. We won the league in one of our best seasons ever, and we won the Copa del Rey. But in the last year, it just showed that the style of play wasn't going to work anymore. We brought in Carlo Ancelotti, one Ladissima, and we brought in Rafa Benitez, who was trying to bring back the Mourinho style, well, sort of it, because he wasn't exactly trying to play tiki-taka, beautiful football, and he got sacked immediately. And Zizou came back. He brought back the beautiful play of Real Madrid, and this is one thing I've got nothing wrong with Alex Allegri. I think he's a top manager, and I think he'd be a fantastic appointment for anyone. Just don't think he'd be the right appointment for 100. The last person we're going to go to before the quick meh, and yeah, it'd be nice, is Joachim Löw. I'm not a fan of Joachim Löw. I'll tell you this right now. I'm not a fan of Joachim Löw. You know, what he did for Germany, fantastic, world class. However, I think it was 16 years or 14 years. I think it was 16 years. He hasn't adapted his play at all. You know, in football, changes happen. A year is a long time in football. 16 years. It's like you've been here since the Jurassic Age. You know, it's not like he hasn't adapted. He has adapted a little bit, but ultimately, he doesn't know what to do in terms of club management. He hasn't been a club manager, I don't think. I might be wrong though. He might have managed like a 3rd division side. He doesn't know what it takes, and to give him the job, realistically, is not a good idea. You know, if we think about the last times we had national team managers, well, traditional national team managers as our boss, as our manager. Let's have a look back, shall we? Vicente Del Bosque. Now, he did alright. Okay, but alright was not good enough. He had one of the best Real Madrid sides ever, with the best players in the world. There's no doubt about that. And he didn't win the Champions. He did win the Champions. He just didn't win enough. Right? You got to win more than one Champions League with Beckham, Figo, Zidane, Ronaldo. You've got to win more than one Champions League. And that ultimately, that's going to go down as not a success, because it weren't a success. He didn't win enough as the manager. Then we brought in Gus Hiddink. He's fine. He didn't bring in much, but it's fine. Nothing wrong with Gus Hiddink. But then we brought in ultimately our worst manager appointment ever in Julian Lopetegui. I feel sorry for him. I mean, we brought him in. He got sacked from the Spain job, and then he got sacked within a few months. If he had a few more months, I think he could have done well, but at Real Madrid you don't get those few months. We lost 5-1 in the Clásico. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. I got embarrassed from that. I was absolutely embarrassed from that. And ultimately, it was his fault. He just didn't know what to do. And ultimately, he was the problem. He didn't know what to do. Last time he managed was in Porto, and it was a good stint with Porto, but he got Spain job, and he did fantastic with Spain, and I think they were my prediction to win the World Cup that year, But ultimately he got sacked, and then it all just fell apart, didn't it? Just all fell apart. So national team managers haven't been good, and he's always spoken of his delight and his hope to manage Real Madrid. He's too much of a risk at this point. He's too much of a risk. I don't trust him with the Real Madrid job. If he was given the job, I would give him a chance, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure with it. I'll give it. So we'll be looking at the other shots of the Real Madrid job. So the 9-1s in a second after this short break. 3 men here who could be a decent appointment for Real Madrid, but I don't see it happening. Marcelo Bielsa, he's not leaving Leeds, is he? Realistically, he's not leaving Leeds, but he would be a fantastic appointment. I would always support him. He's a world-class manager. He'd never been given enough money to work with, and if he was, I would like to see how it would pan out, to see if Marcelo Bielsa could do really well with a bit of money. A bit of money is all he needs. With next up, we have Erik ten Hag, Ajax manager. It's just not happening, is it? I'm not accepting Erik ten Hag. I don't want him anymore. After that demolishment against Ajax a couple of years ago, just go away, Erik. I don't want you here. No, Erik, just go away. Erik, don't do it. Next, we have Sergio Conceição. He's just a bit dull, isn't he? His personality is not dull, definitely not. But his football's a bit dull. It's not inspiring, and I don't think he's going to be appointed. None of these 3 are going to be appointed, but they're being linked. I would obviously pick Marcelo Bielsa out of those 3, but it's not going to happen, is it? So yeah, we'll be moving on to the Athletic Bilbao preview. So we have big match against Athletic Bilbao. Big match. Second to last match of the season. And we're hoping for Athletic to drop points. If they don't, they're just not going to win. Ultimately, Barcelona are out of the title race at this point. Atletico only need 1 win to knock out Barcelona out of the title race. So, ultimately, it's between us and Atletico at this point. This Athletic Bilbao match is so important, but that Villarreal match is more important because of the fact that it's the final match and it could decide the fate. Doesn't matter. Okay, it would decide the fate, right? So, lineup. Goalkeeper, Courtois. That should be simple, and it shouldn't be any difficulties predicting that. Right back, Alvaro Rizola. Over the last few weeks, he's proven to me that he's actually a trustworthy fullback, and I believe he deserves to be a fullback again, and he deserves to be back in the fold for Real Madrid, because over the last few weeks, when we've had injuries for Carvajal and for Vasquez, he's shown to us that he can perform. So Alvaro Rizola might have come 2 years too late, but he's ready. He's ready for a match, and I'm not going to be scared if he plays the match, because I think he's our best option, ahead of playing Marvin Parker right wing back. Okay, it's 2 centre backs, Nacho Militao. I mean, there's no other option, is it? It's either Victor Chusters or... So, yeah, there's no deliberation of that. Left back, Miguel. Yeah, Marcelo's not coming back. I told you this earlier. Marcelo should not be anywhere near Real Madrid anymore. I've had enough of him. He's out. Okay, Marcelo, goodbye. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for all of this. Right, but I think it's time to go. He has to go, blood. He has to go, blood. CDM. Problem. There is a big problem in the midfield. So we'll just put it in Valverde. But the problem is, two of the players in midfield, two of our key players in midfield, Modric and Casemiro, are one game away from a suspension. One yellow card away from suspension. Listen, I don't think I want to risk them, but I kind of have to, don't you? I'm more scared if we lose Casemiro than if we lose Modric. Modric we can deal with a bit more, and Casemiro we can't. So I'm going to put Modric, Valverde, and Antonio Blanco. Yeah, I've done it. I'll put Antonio Blanco instead of Casemiro for a match. You know, this could backfire. This could backfire immensely, but I trust Antonio to do the job for us. Alright? Right wing, striker. So just put the striker in. Benzema, there's no deliberation there. Benzema's coming in. That's it. There's nothing. So, left wing, who else could there be? Well, you've got Asensio, you've got Vinicius, you've got Hazard. Should you risk Hazard? Villarreal, think about it. Pau Torres, interception god. I'll be all scary, man. This will be a difficult choice, isn't it? It's a very difficult choice. I'm gonna say Asensio and Rodrigo. Rodrigo put a shift in the other match, the other day against Granada. So I'm saying Asensio and Rodrigo for this match. So that's the end of the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please hit the like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week or in another video. Goodbye.